What's going on, guys? It's Nintendo Nerd, and as you can see, it's very dark. I wanted you to see the Wii U gamepad because we're gonna be ranking my Skylanders worst to best. First up, we're not gonna talk a lot. The only rules I have are no reposes, which are just repost Skylanders with one additional move, and no Trap Team figures since I can't show them to you. Okay, with that being said, we're gonna start it off at number 18. Kept it dark so you could see the portal. But, yep, as you can see, I'm not sure if you guys, yeah, you can see it. First up is Tornado. He is the worst Skylander in my opinion. As you can see, he does not do a lot of damage. Sure, he's level 2, but from my knowledge, he only gets to 800 health, which is very low for a Skylander with a shell. Ironically, he's the only one with a shell, but he has a decent defense stat, but everything else is pretty low. And his attacks make him pretty slow of a character to do. And his movable attack doesn't do... I believe it does damage with an upgrade, but I didn't bother to deal with him because he isn't a... Because from my knowledge, he's a really bad Skylander from SSA. But with that being said, let's move on to number 17. I'm trying to find him. We got Jetvac. He's another... He is much better than Tornado, but not by much. I'm not a big fan of the air element, except for one in particular one, but he's one of those pretty slow Skylanders. I got him recently. He has one of those stupid SSA abilities where he just, where for a start attack he just flies without doing any damage. It is good for mobility. He has a bit of a different thing that makes him slightly better than others, where he can use his suction pole to pull in enemies' coins or just pull in air that he used for his jetpack, and also does a good amount of damage. But yeah, that's why he's at number 17. I'm sorry that it's so slow, but it's hard to find him when it's very dark in your room. But next up, we got a Swap Skylander. Next up, we got Swashbuckler. Yeah, Swashbuckler, I reset him recently, but he is a decent... He has decent power, but he is a very slow and monotonous Skylander to use. For a secondary attack, he pulls out his tentacles, and he throws them forward, and he gets launched. He's a very slow Skylander, as you can see. That's why I don't really like him a lot. So that's why he's at number 16. Alright, number 14 is another SSA one. Zook. Yes, I have the Wii version, but I played with him recently, and I could see I could put him... Playing with him recently made me realize how good he actually is, because for one, he does 45 damage with one of his attacks. They're very long range. They home in. Like, I'm trying to show. Yeah, it snaps right to the targets right here, which are very useful. He makes barriers, which enemies go for, and you could snipe them from afar like this. And he has an overhead attack that also homes in, and it does 50 damage. And it has a very high chance of doing a critical hit. So, yeah. it also has an explosion radius, so you can hit enemies around them. And that's why he's at number 15. I'm sorry for having it take so long to find them. It's annoying to find a lot of them. I know I said that Swap Force would be my last video, but I wanted to talk about it again. I don't want to leave it behind all of these videos. But next up, we got Night Shift. He's kind of a whatever Skylander to me. He's pretty bad for a swapper. That's the main reason I put him here. He kind of just has a punch thing. You can combo it with layer upgrades. There's a dash right here. That's about it. That's about it for him. I don't have a lot to say about him. But yeah, that's number 14, and number 13 is Stealth Elf. Hope you guys are enjoying it so far. I'm having fun doing this because I'm actually able to show gameplay. But yeah, I got Ninja Stealth Elf here. It's weird how she isn't a ninja in game, but it shows the artwork for a ninja. But yeah, it's a very, I don't like close range Skylanders mostly, but thanks to Stealth Elf's speed, it's much more easy to pick up her because, yeah, I don't know how to explain stuff. She's very agile, which makes her avoid attacks. She has, a decoy attack, which targets the decoy, obviously. So then you can come in and start attacking, because they won't stop attacking the decoy until they're dead. But yeah, that's why she's at number 13. Now we're getting to pretty good territory, but not that good. But next up we got Stink Bomb. Yes, Stink Bomb. Anybody remembers some swappers? For being my favorite game, one of my favorites of all time because of nostalgia. This game has a lot of forgettable ones compared to the originals. But yeah, looking at it, it's kind of slow. He has an invisible attack, which, yeah, does damage over time. Poison Zone, I think. I'm not sure. He has a three-way Shoryuken. I don't know how to say it, but yeah. He has a three-way projectile, which most projectile-based characters have. Most of the swappers are better combining them with others. Obviously, that's the main gimmick. But next up, we got one of my favorites from an attachment level. We got Terrafin. Knockout Terrafin for this one. But yeah, he is another really good one, in my opinion. He does insane amount of damage when you're done a combo with 95. And he's definitely one of my favorites from this game. He's slow, but as most Surf characters are, he's slow and strong. He has a good amount of health to him, and his digging attack goes a pretty long radius, and you can combo it by hitting B, B, and then C for the Wii, which is primary, secondary, to do a giant slam in the middle of it. So he's a very good distance character, despite being, an earth element and slow and strong, but he's a very good one. We're getting to above average now. Swappers, that's Blast Zone. Everybody knows that Blast Zone is a good one, but that's not who we're talking about now. We're talking about Spyrise. Yes, Spyrise. Oh, I love... Spyrise has an interesting story to him. One friend, he actually watches my channel. My friend, we went to the same elementary school, and he stole Spyrise's bottom. You know, since he's a swapper, you can take this. But he stole the bottom of his Spyrise. And I finally got it back in 8th grade when we finally met again. That was pretty funny. It was 8 for 7. But, yeah, he does a good amount of... He does 100 damage. I'm not really good at reading. I'm pretty good distance away. Yeah, that's 100. Yeah, but he's a really good Skylander. Basically, this attack, you land a landmine. It targets enemies, and you can just come down from above, which is very useful. Almost fell. Next up, we gotta find him. I have a light to check. Help me check. Next up, we got a fan favorite from the series. Chop Chop. We're getting to really good territory now. The mediocre are kind of just there, but this one is a really good one. Since he's a twin blade, it kind of pushes it up for me personally. But since we're not including the twin blade, he's definitely higher if we were talking about the twin blade. But yeah, without it, he's a pretty mediocre one in my opinion. He has a bramble attack, which is just him launching forward. It does good amount of damage, but not that much. His sword attack is pretty decent in damage. He has a good amount of health for a Skylander. And his shield attack kind of ruins it, unless you have the shield upgrade path, which most people don't, because the sword path is infinitely better. But next up, I've mentioned this guy so many times because of where his head went. Spyro. Yes, the namesake of the original game, and he's just okay. He does a decent amount of damage. He has a flying ability, which kind of ruins it. Oh god. That's funny, but... Anyway, yeah, he's a decent Skylander. Okay, at number 7, I don't even have to look for him since he's a giant. This is the first giant on our list. Hothead. Oh my god, that's actually really cool. I'm looking at the video right now. That looks really cool with him, but anyway, oh god, he's making it so hard to see, but yeah, most giants are really good. This is my least favorite in my opinion. He was my first, and I've had him for a while, but he's pretty mediocre for this giant. He does an insane amount of damage. Well, most of the time, if I could actually see, you can see perfectly fine, but for me, I can't see because Hothead's blocking the way of the portal. But he does about 28 damage for most attacks. I have the oil path, which the fire and oil, which basically has the oil targeting enemies or targets in this case, which makes him a pretty good one. There's not much to talk about. I loved Hothead for the longest time, but now that I have more giants, it's pretty mediocre. Next up is one that's in almost every single game in this series. We got Gilgrunt. I have only Series 1 Gilgrunt. I forgot I had a hat for him. I'm going to Skylanders hell because of that. But yes, he has a 3-way projectile, as most of them do. He does 50 damage with his middle one. I'm trying not to, but the joystick is right as I hit it. But yeah, it's a very strong attack. His secondary attack is decent, albeit not that good, because it runs on a meter. Then he has another flying attack, which I don't like that. But yeah, overall he's a pretty decent one. I believe he has a charge shot when you upgrade him, and it does 100 damage. Before you upgrade him, you can't pierce through these targets, which makes him a pretty mediocre one. But anyway, we're up to number 5. Wow. Another giant is up next. Crusher. A lot of people say that, well, not a lot. Tell me if you like Crusher or not, if you have him. If you don't, I would not like you to answer that because you don't have him, obviously. But he does 80 damage on a single hit. This character is amazing. He does so much damage. He has a lot of health, as you can see. He's not even fully upgraded. And he has a 1,111 health. That's a lot, but he has a stone ability which freezes all close by enemies. And his combos do over 100 damage. Or if you just want to hold it, it launches out a projectile. Why isn't it launching the projectile? I think it's because it's on a launch pad right there. Yeah, I don't know why it isn't doing the projectile, but yeah, he's a really good one. I don't know why people don't like him, because the only thing that's weird about him is he has a pretty low defense for him being, a rock. But anyway, speaking of Earth Element, we got Scorp. Yes, Scorp. He's a very good Skylander. I just recently got him. He doesn't look like he does a lot of damage at first. He does only 12 on his first primary. But then, right after, it has little poison effect, which does 23, so that adds it up to 40 damage on one attack. And he has a very spammable projectile. It does it in an arc, which I don't really mind, because it only makes it a little close range, but you can charge it up for a bigger one, and that makes it really powerful. Then you have his somersault roll, which does 40 damage, which is insane. The only thing that I feel like is bad about him is because he has a decent amount of... He has a pretty low health, but I'm not one to complain because he's a very good one. You won't be dying with him a lot if he's on your side. But next up, we got the final swapper on this list. Where did he go? Actually, where did he go? I just had him. Please stand by. There's technical difficulties. Oh, where did he go, actually? Please stand by. Okay, we're back. Yes, I found him. Kind of spoils it, or whatever, but he was right next to me all along. There's a lot of Skylanders sitting right next to me. Tell me if you enjoy this, because I think this is decent if it wasn't for the godforsaken portal in the way and the Skylander. But yeah, Blastone is a very strong attacker. His ranged attack is pretty similar to Scorp's, but except it bounces, which makes it much better because it has a much longer range. And it seems like it targets whenever you're going a direction and it locks on. It just instantly locks on, but I think that's just every Skylander now that I think about it. But he has a charge attack. He has a dash. Wait, how much? That does 100 damage. But you have a guard attack, which creates a field of fire right in front of you. I'm pretty sure it does a shockwave effect when you upgrade him more, but yeah, he's an insane Skylander. He's really good. Next up, I know exactly where you are. No hiding from me. Got T-Rex. Oh, I love T-Rex. Oh, I love him. I fully upgraded him the first day I got him. He's such a good character. He does 85 damage with his charge and 65 by just spamming it, which is still a really good amount. He has a shoulder charge, and if you, wait, you're not supposed to do that. There. You do a charge, and you slam right back down on the ground, and that does 70 damage. And he does a 3-way, I'm not even sure what that is. I'm gonna call it a laser. I know it isn't, but he has a 3-part laser attack, which you can just spam to do 14 damage on each hit, which it does 14 damage on each hit. There's 3 hits a second. I'm doing a lot of math for this video. But yeah. He is number 2 for a very good reason. He's a very good one. I feel like most people have him because you just see so many images of like 100 T-Rex in someone's room. Anyway, finally, the best one, Trigger Happy. I have Springtime Trigger Happy, but I also have Big Bang Trigger Happy, which they're the same. But this guy is so overpowered. You can just start spamming his main projectile attack, and it does 15 each hit. And if you charge it up, it has multiple segments to it. And once you fully charge it up, it does 375 damage. That's the Skylander. This is my Skylander that does the most damage. And his other attacks aren't even something to scoff at either. Even if you just do a light charge, it does 100 damage. But he has a machine gun, which is one of the more mediocre attacks in his arsenal, but it's still a really good attack. And with his variant, he does this little charge up, which I don't really like, but it doesn't really change his character that much. But it does 100 damage, and then if you get the explosion effect, it does another 50. Which, he does a lot of damage. The only real downside he has to him is his health, which is, I believe when he's fully upgraded, 600. He's still really good, and if you play carefully and you're playing at a long range, then you're able to whittle the opponents down or do the giant charge attack and instantly kill any enemy. Which, that's why he's at number 1. But, hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sorry for the lack of videos last week. In the description of that last video, I said I was on vacation. Hope you guys understand. Thanks for waiting. And we'll see you next week. And we're out.